You know, we're here today to celebrate this very momentous occasion, the ribbon cutting of another completed section of the Gary Shale Cross City Trail, Wilmington's signature greenway, which will be 15 miles long when completed, connecting users with parks, schools, neighborhoods, and commercial areas, commercial shopping centers. The Autumn Hall section of the Gary Shale Cross City Trail closes a gap between two very heavily used sections of the trail, the Eastwood Road section that we're here on today, and the College Acres neighborhood and UNCW behind me. This $435,000 section of the trail was funded in equal portions from the city's parks bonds that was voted on by the people of this community in May of 2006, and a grant from the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund. Other significant portions of the Gary Shale Cross City Trail which will be completed this year include the gap there at Independence and Shipyard Boulevard, the Randall Parkway section which is currently under construction, and the construction of the trailhead at Wade Park which will connect to the completed section in front of the park there at Halliburton Park. These improvements make cycling and pedestrian travel safer and more convenient choices for our residents and visitors to our community. The Gary Shale Cross City Trail is not just a recreation facility, it is a transportation facility, a place for people to exercise, to improve their health, and a place where people can connect. As the slogan says, move, play, and connect. As we have seen the popularity of the Gary Shale Cross City Trail grow, we realize how much these types of greenways are desired by our community. To address that need, the city, the County of New Hanover, and the Wilmington Metropolitan Planning Organization recently completed a comprehensive greenway plan which will lay the blueprint and foundation for a future greenway network, which, by the way, this portion and this trail will also connect with the East Coast Trail that is also underway and is currently developed as it goes along, but it's also been developed for quite some time. Over 3,600 people, over 2% of New Hanover County's population, provided comments about the Greenway plan. 97% of the people said greenways were very important to them, and over 90% of the people indicated that they would use greenways more if they were closer to them. Local government cannot build these greenways alone. They have and they will take a collaborative effort among local, state, and federal governments, as well as private citizens and private entities. The partnership with private entities is exemplified here with this section of the Gary Shale Cross City Trail. Without the generous donation of an easement by the Trask family, this day would not be possible, and we would not have this most beautiful stretch of the trail that you see behind me if it was not for that generous donation. In recognition of this contribution, the city would like to present to the Trask family with a lasting acknowledgement of their generosity. There we go. Just a personal note, as somebody that was born and raised in this community and grew up in this community, I've known the Trask family for a long time. Me and Raiford played baseball together on a very bad baseball team many, many years ago. But I will tell you that the Trask family has left an indelible mark on this community. Obviously, the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, the lot of the land there was owned by the Trask family, and a lot of it was donated for the university. The Heidi Trask Bridge, Trask Coliseum, and many other endeavors here in this community. They have been community leaders for many, many years, and the generations of Trask that have helped make this community what it is today. This generation of Trask has also taken it upon themselves to improve upon the quality of life in our community. And from a personal note, as the mayor of this city, that I'm so very proud of, I want to thank Raiford and his entire family for this generous donation to our community that will be felt for generations to come. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Mr. Raiford Trask. Raiford?
Thank you all for coming out today. On behalf of my family, I really appreciate the show of support. I often wonder what my grandfather would think of Wilmington and this property today if he were here. I know he valued hard work and community progress, so I feel like he would appreciate the long hours that Mike and Amy put in to make this a reality. So I'd like to recognize y'all. It's been a pleasure to work with you. And I also think he would like the end result. He always knew that Wilmington was in the quality of life business, and trails and parks are a really cost-effective way to enhance our quality of life. So I feel like he would be very pleased today. Since we're in the mutual admiration business, I would like to thank the mayor. What a great guy for Wilmington. He's not afraid to get in and mix it up to try to make a better city, and he does that every day. And thank goodness he didn't have to make a living playing baseball, but baseball's loss is our game. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. This time I'd like to also recognize Mr. Gary Miller, our Chancellor of the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Also, Gary, the university has played a very instrumental part in the completion of this trail. If it wasn't for their generous donation of easements through the university, through the campus, this trail would not be a reality. They were also a very significant player in making this happen. And as I've said over and over again about this Gary Shell Cross City Trail, this has truly been a community effort to make this a reality. So at this time I'd like to recognize Chancellor Miller. Chancellor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What a great day to be out here. I'm delighted to be here and represent the University of North Carolina, Wilmington in this great event. I like mutual admiration, and I want to say to the mayor, we are just delighted with his commitment to the university and to the city council and those of you from the county. We count you all as partners in this great journey that we have at the university, which we're all very excited about. Raiford Trask is an example of the kind of people that you meet all the time in this area of the country: generous, civic-minded, understanding this part of the country, understanding where we need to go. And Raiford, thank you for your generosity here. Raiford's also, as is Tommy, a member of the UNC Board of Governors, and they're providing a lot of service in the state right now that's very important for education in North Carolina. So it's a great delight to be here and to thank all of you on behalf of the students and faculty and staff of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. This trail goes through part of campus, and I was telling somebody a few minutes ago that it really has changed the configuration of campus and our connection with the community. And it's very important for us to be connected to this community, to be part of the economic development scene, to be engaged in the community, and to have this Gary Shell trail to come through our campus, physically connect us with the other parts of this community is very, very important to us, and we're very proud to be part of that. So I want to add my congratulations to all of those who conceived of this idea and who made it come to fruition, because this, I think, is a great example of what Wilmington and this part of North Carolina are all about. And thank you all for coming out to acknowledge this great work. Thank you.
I just had the opportunity today to meet our Secretary of Transportation, General Tony Tata. He was building roads in Afghanistan and a couple of years ago serving our country, and we thank him for that, for his public service to our nation. And so this is a very special occasion to have the Secretary of Transportation that will help me cut the ribbon for this tremendous endeavor that our community is undertaking here. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Secretary Tony Tata. Secretary, thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. You know, this morning about 7:30, I flew down here and we landed actually at Southport and flew over White Lake, which I recognized, and I immediately flashed back to the first triathlon I'd ever done. And then I knew that I was going to be here this afternoon. It's been a great day down here in southeastern North Carolina. And I remember how hard it was to train for that triathlon that I was training for. And now I'm thinking, I'm visualizing where I like to surf down at Wrightsville Beach, swimming for a mile or so, and then coming out and being able to get on this greenway and run to, Chancellor Miller's university, and then or ride a bike there and then run back or something. But think of the endless possibilities that this greenway will provide, and how it will connect. And wow, what a humble servant family in the Trask family to donate this land, a beautiful piece of land. And so let's give them another round of applause as well. I can't thank you enough for being here today to attend this great event that really symbolizes more than just a paved place to walk and ride your bike and enjoy nature, but it's really something that has been mentioned that connects the university with the community, with several different communities. And there's all kinds of studies out there that show that communities with greenways actually have better tourism, and tourism means better economic output for the region. And that is what Governor McCrory is, his first priority for me is to improve customer service. Second priority is to find projects that create jobs and enhance the economies of the local areas. So what I see here is sort of fulfilling both of those notions, as we are catering to the people that, the 97% of the people that want to use greenways, and the economic input and output that will come from connecting and finalizing this program. So thank you so much for involving me. Somebody wrote a speech for me. I totally didn't use it, but I'm just thrilled and energized and looking forward to getting on my beach cruiser here and riding down the greenway. So I'm proud of all of you who helped make this happen, and thank you very much for letting me be a part of it. Thank you.
I also like to share also some special thanks to Patricia Teague and Donald Bird, contractors with Service Max of Wilmington. Also John Tunstall Engineering of Norris Tunstall Engineering of Wilmington, as well as Jeff Moore and Elizabeth Lynch of Kimley Horn and Associates of Raleigh, North Carolina, for their help in making this happen. I also like to recognize also Amy Beatty and Mr. Mike Special K. Kozlowski for all of their hard work. I kept calling Mike over and over and over again as to, have we gotten the easements yet? Have they signed the papers yet? And when they finally signed the papers, and I told this to Raiford, I got a copy of it and I framed it and put it in my home. So at some point in time, somebody will have that. But real quick, before we cut the ribbon with the secretary, me and the secretary are going to take a bike ride down this lane here. But just something real quick, just something that kind of comes back to me over and over again, is when Gary Shell came to the mayor's office with several people from the Parks Department. I think Amy was there, to share with me his vision of the Gary Shell Cross City Trail. And he laid it out for me, and he told me all of these easements, and he told me all of this stuff we were going to have to do, and told me about all the money we were going to spend. And when he walked out of that office, I said, he's crazy as a loon. I says, there's no way that we're going to be able to do this in this period of time. And lo and behold, here we are 5 years later, 15 miles of the trail fully funded with private as well as public monies, and 11 miles of the trail completed. And it takes visionaries like that have a vision, that have a drive, with a team of folks in the community that really took it upon themselves to make that happen. And I can't thank each and every one. I mean, there's too many to thank, but there were so many people that were involved in making this a reality. And I just want to thank you, the citizens of this community, for supporting us on the Parks bonds in 2006, and for the staff and for the people that got behind Gary's vision and made this reality. I also want to thank Laura for bringing up the idea to name this trail after Gary, which is very appropriate to make that happen. So to Gary Shell, we owe this to a tremendous public servant. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. There we go.